What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode where we're going to talk about Daxin. What? You don't know what Daxin is? Well, that's why you're here. Daxin is being called the most sophisticated malware ever developed by Chinese threat actors. You might remember the episode I did about red line malware. If you recall, that malware was being transmitted via fake Windows updates. Red line is a sophisticated malware, and it's used extensively to steal user passwords, browser cookies, cryptocurrency wallets, and credit card information. Now, that malware is used against your average mom and pop, who just happens to be cool and not only knows what cryptocurrency is, but has a wallet with some squirreled away somewhere. Now, in case you missed the episode about the Redline malware and want to watch it, the link is above. Again, in this episode, we're going to talk specifically about Daxin. Now, Daxin doesn't go after mom and pop. Daxin goes after the most secure and hardened targets out there, hardened networks of governments and major corporations who invest tons of money in securing their network. Now, I hope you watch the full episode, but if not, you can now skip directly to my insights at the end of the episode, right from the timeline below. For the rest of you, let's go through the story together and see what we can learn to protect ourselves and others.
Oh, drat these computers. They're so naughty and so complex. I could pinch them.
The Symantec Threat Hunter team noticed the advanced persistent threat weapon in action in November, noting that it's the most advanced piece of malware Symantec researchers have seen from China-linked actors, exhibiting technical complexity previously unseen by such actors. They added that Daxin's specific scope of operations includes reading and writing arbitrary files, starting and interacting with arbitrary processes, and advanced lateral movement and stealth capabilities. Daxin malware is a highly sophisticated rootkit backdoor with complex, stealthy command and control functionality that enabled remote actors to communicate with secure devices that are not connected directly to the internet, warned CISA in a alert. Daxin appears to be optimized for use against hardened targets, allowing the actors to deeply burrow into targeted networks and exfiltrate data without raising suspicions. Congratulations, you're doing a great job by wanting to learn about Daxin's malware. I appreciate your support by watching my episode about it. If you're new to my channel and have not already, please consider subscribing to my channel and smashing the bell to be notified when I upload new episodes where I give you insights into the newest important cybersecurity news stories like this one. With my insights, you can be better prepared to protect your company, your family, and of course yourself against these and other cyber attacks. So hit the subscribe button now and let's continue to learn about this story together. From a technical standpoint, Daxin takes the form of a Windows kernel driver, according to Symantec's Monday analysis, and has a focus on stealth. Daxin's capabilities suggest the attackers invested significant effort into developing communication techniques that can blend in unseen with normal network traffic on the target's network, the firm found. Specifically, the malware avoids starting its own network services. Instead, it can abuse any legitimate services already running on the infected computers. It communicates with legitimate services via network tunneling, they added, and further, it can set up daisy-chain communications. Researchers added to move internally via hops between several linked computers. Daxin is also capable of relaying its communications across a network of interfaced computers within the attacked organization, they said. The attackers can select an arbitrary path across infected computers and send a signal command, so first time from computer A to computer B, then to computer C, then to the network, or from computer A directly to computer C to the network, as an example. So the attackers can't select this arbitrary path across infected computers and send a signal command that instructs these computers to establish requested connectivity. This use case has been optimized by Daxin's designers. It then performs a custom key exchange with a remote peer, where two sides follow complementary steps like a secret handshake. The malware can be both the initiator and the target of a key exchange, according to the analysis. A successful key exchange opens an encrypted communication channel for receiving commands and sending responses. Daxin's use of hijacked TCP connections affords a high degree of stealth to its communications and helps establish connectivity on networks with strict firewall rules, so it can still tunnel through a firewall. Now, it may also lower the risk of discovery by associate analysts monitoring for network anomalies. When all of this is put together, the result is that a single command message that includes all the details required to establish communication, specifically the node IP address, like my example from A to B to C or A directly to C to the network, its TCP port number and the credentials to use during custom key exchange. So when Daxin receives this message, it picks the next node from the list. The research team linked Daxin to Chinese actors because it's usually deployed alongside tools known to be associated with Chinese espionage actors. So what can we learn? First, let's be clear. These attackers are not going after your mom and dad's computer. Most of the targets appear to be organizations and governments of strategic interest to China. Now, considering its capabilities and the nature of its deployed attacks, it's not going after mom and pop companies either. Daxin appears to be optimized for use against large, hardened targets, meaning organizations and governments that already have a robust security plan in place probably spent millions of dollars to get it that way. So it seems like these guys like a challenge. Now, the capabilities of Daxin allow the attackers to burrow deep into a target's network and exfiltrate data without raising suspicions. The sophistication and capabilities of Daxin raise two pretty serious points for me. Number one, it's not really a matter anymore of if you will get hacked. It's a matter of how quickly you can detect it and then stop the threat. Number two, the stealth nature of this malware raises tons of red flags for me about the possibility of many other simple cybercrime gangs going this route. Now, this now exists, and as we've seen many times in the past, once something exists, it doesn't take long for others to make a cheap copy. Let's talk about the easier point first. Everyone talks about their security plans as if they're ironclad fortresses that can never be penetrated. But people are people and computers are computers. Both have inherent flaws. There's no getting around this fact. Bad code is bad code that can allow a vulnerability in any number of internet-facing devices or applications, from the cell phones you carry around in your pocket to the Wi-Fi connected office coffee machine, to servers, firewalls, routers, switches, or even the open source library used at one time from some internal software tool. Any one of these are attack vectors from both the software and the human side. A human can be socially engineered or just, not do a thorough job in vetting updates or upgrades or changes, etc. And that can lead to things like supply chain attacks or exploits of vulnerabilities that your IT department missed, theft of credentials, or, maybe they put off an update because it's 4th of July weekend and, we can wait until Monday. So it's not a matter of if you'll get penetrated. Yes, he said penetrated. It is a matter of when and what processes you have in place for spotting unauthorized activity and what methods you have for blocking it. Could be killing RDP processes on a device, or killing VPN connections, or dumping access tokens, whatever. The point is, the process of recognizing fishy or unauthorized or suspicious activity and then mitigating it as fast as possible has become just as important as having a hardened fortress to keep the bad guys out. Okay, so talk about point one. Now let's focus on the harder issue to tackle. It's harder because we have little control over steering the outcome. So the first point we can control by creating that plan for how to react to an intrusion, having security fire drills to test said plan, monitor said plan, update said plan over time with new techniques, and on and on and on. Now, in the case of cybercrime gangs going more stealth, we have little control. It'll make our job so much more difficult. Daxin can cloak its traffic using existing processes or services on the infected system, making it extremely difficult to even know that it's on your system or in your network or that somebody's right now stealing your data. Daxin can hop from PC to PC inside your network until it reaches one that, say, has internet connection, and then it can connect using that one to its command and control server, and then bring a command hopping back across internal network PCs to your origin. how do you detect and protect against that when the network traffic is being tunneled? Now, if distributed denial of service bots, for example, began using these more stealthy tactics, it might be impossible to ever get them under control or wipe them out, and you could turn any system into a bot. Windows, Linux, whatever, router, firewall, blah, blah, blah. What if command and control servers all of a sudden started using these stealth tactics where it hid itself in a system that has no internet direct connection but hops across the network to an internet connected machine, any one of hundreds within a network, and then communicates with its slaves or its system? If ransomware gangs started using these tactics, how will your security team be able to catch them in the act of exfiltrating data or snooping around in your network if all their traffic is cloaked via legitimate services and the traffic is tunneled? Again, Daxin does not start new services. It leverages existing services and uses network tunneling to hide itself. Now, with this kind of stealth activity, you'll only find out about a ransomware attack, say, when your system is encrypted. So we're now full circle back to point one. Monitoring and catching and reacting as fast as possible. But the stealthy nature, again, of how Daxin works makes it extremely difficult to even know what's happening. Now, I guess what's kind of needed then is like some service level monitoring and predictive analysis, let's say, of variances in that service activity. So on Windows, an easy service to think about would be the services.exe, which is the Service Control Manager, or LSAS.exe, which is the Local Security Authority service, and monitor its activity. LSAS is commonly abused by hackers on Windows systems, so maybe it's a good one to start with. So say you take 1 week as your base activity. You get the max, min, and mean or average values of activity in that time for that service, and then you monitor an ongoing activity for out-of-bounds increases in that activity, or you say, prolonged increases of just a little bit of activity that don't match the base pattern. Then you flag that heightened activity as suspicious. That's a very simplistic model I just made, but do you have it? If so, of course, let me know in the comments because good for you. Now, I have seen that manufacturing has process monitoring, but that deals with things like, material cost review, and any adjustments to processes in manufacturing are infrequent. Adjustments are made manually and take place due to, special causes. It's not something that happens regularly from regular disturbances. In the world of digital ones and zeros, I can see that the act of monitoring itself of like every service on a machine has been extremely resource intensive. Not to mention any algorithm used to analyze or do any predictive analysis. Now, I need to log every activity of every process and service and analyze it using some algorithm. It's a really cool idea, but again, resource intensive. So, all in all, to recap, you still need to protect your network with security policies, firewalls, user education, and all the other stuff. But you also need to have processes in place to react as quickly as possible if you do get penetrated. And in the very, 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 very near future, you might see regular run-of-the-mill threat actors using this kind of sophisticated stealth activity. With that, I say thanks again for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe if you haven't already, and smash the bell if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.